Here we got Michael's up, sitting backwards, right behind the jib there we can see. Eli probably even wants to move a little farther forward, but we can look at their bow number, and we see that it's right down near the water, right? Our boat is, the line of the hull is a mostly straight line parallel with the water. The bow lifts up at the end, but we see that number is almost upright, sitting right on the water. And if we skip forward a little bit, watch through Douglas and Joe's roll tack here, and now we can see, like we mentioned earlier, probably both skippers that we're pointing out want to move a little farther forward, but here crew is sitting facing forward instead of backwards, so we can see the weights farther back. Remember in boat 12, Michael was sitting right about here, so that's maybe 2 foot of distance that's been shifted backwards, and over the course of 14 feet of the boat's length, that is a percentage of weight. We can see the numbers a bit higher, see how the bow is rising up in the air a bit more, which means that more of the wide flat stern is pressed down in the water. So especially in the light wind like this, we really want to get the bow down in the water, so it's just less surface area, less drag for us. Here we're looking at a roll tack from Eli and Michael on Wednesday. I think these were some of the best roll tacks we're seeing in the field of boats. Certainly some things to improve on, but all the big picture items are there. We got the timing pretty good. We got a good amount of roll, really working on that. So overall looking pretty good there. Here's a look at a pretty good leeward rounding. We're letting the boat heel down to leeward to get around there, help it turn. Just barely kind of missed the turn there, but that's alright. Versus right here, we're not really making the boat want to turn. We have to use a lot of rudder to get through that turn. We have a little deal going on. So we see here Eli was kind of below, boat number 12 was a little below boat number 11. They started on the same angle, sailing up toward the mark. 12 realizes they're drifting down a little bit, probably a combination of the bad air from 11, and they were just a little low on the ley line. So they're trying to point up and get to the mark, but now they're actually slowing themselves down enough that they're really losing their boat speed. So boat 11 was able to zoom right around. They had to pinch up right at the last moment, shot around it with some momentum. But 12 is kind of, at this point, they're almost dead in the water. They go through a tack. Had to slowly, they look like they're trying to shoot the mark and realize they're not going to make it, so had to tack. And now they get to a point where they're looking over here and they see people catching up to them, and this is something we have to be careful of while we are sailing. If we get into a situation like this, we look back and we start thinking, I have to stay ahead of these guys at all costs, and focusing on that thought means that we stop worrying about sailing our boat, and sailing our boat is actually what we'd have to do to make ourselves stay ahead of them. And so we end up losing places that we didn't have to, just because we were thinking about it the wrong way. So they ended up trying to go through a tack too soon. They did their roll and their flatten before the boat really had turned at all. And so they ended up stalling out and kind of drifting down into these guys and losing some places there.